We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Tyler Huntley, aka Snoop, for the Miami Dolphins. Tua didn't play in this game, which sucks, obviously, but this was by far the best performance they've gotten out of backup quarterback in like multiple years since, McDaniel has been here. Actually played like a very solid game overall, and the Dolphins are very much alive. They have a realistic shot to make the playoffs, which is kind of insane from where they started. Now, the offense overall, I don't think had a great game, but I don't think Huntley was really a part of those problems. They mainly, you killed a lot of drives with, some dumb penalties or, maybe some play calls that kind of ruined it. We'll break that down throughout the game. I think really the only area I thought Huntley might have struggled in was sometimes he kind of created sacks on his own by stepping into pressures. So that was something I think, he could work upon. But he was making throws down the field. I think, the difference in this game is the Browns played defense, like kind of how normal defenses usually play. But usually when you go against like Dolphins with Tua in the game, the teams play a lot of cover 2, especially when they have Tyreek and Waddle. This was only Tyreek, so I think the Browns kind of dared them to throw the ball down the field. Played a lot of single high, played a lot of cover 1 as well, and Huntley was able to take advantage of that. So that was like a huge part of the game, is that they went cover 1, especially in high passing situations, and Huntley hit multiple throws or even had some runs against cover 1. Dolphins ran a lot of RPO, which Huntley looked comfortable with. The timing routes, I think, he did a good job with. But we'll get down to all of this. There's many different things to look at, but I do like what I saw from Snoop. The running game wasn't really there. I don't think it was McDaniel's best game either. I mean, it definitely wasn't McDaniel's best game, but I do see people like freaking out. I've seen people saying he's like a horrible head coach. I don't think I obviously think there's things he needs to work on, but I think this is important to point out that the Dolphins started the season 2-6, and I think, even though the season has been, up and down roller coaster, really not the most enjoyable one, they have turned it around and really put themselves in a chance to make the playoffs, which is impressive. Hopefully Tua can play next week. I think, versus the Jets, it's a much tougher. I think it's not a much tougher game, but I think it's a tougher game for the Dolphins than the Browns would be. Really, Huntley has only played against, some of the worst teams in the league in his games. Like he's played like the Browns, Titans, Patriots. Jets are another one that's also not a great team, but the Dolphins just barely beat them a couple of weeks ago, so I think they need to be at full strength for that one, just because, divisional opponent games can be a little tougher, but we'll break this down. I think, Huntley did a good job overall here. First play, we're looking at play action. I thought he was very good off play action. As you can see, single high, more opportunities. The Browns played a little more stacked in the box. They wanted to stop the run. They were more threatened by the run, which is, hasn't been the case really for Miami this season. So they get a clean pocket with the play action. Huntley's able to step up, kind of, moves here unnecessarily. Like, he could have just stayed there, had a clean pocket, and then thrown to Tyreek. So he steps up and then still finds him, which is nice to see, working off script. Didn't necessarily need to, leave the pocket. It was a clean pocket, and he could have just hit his back foot and then thrown the ball to Tyreek right now. Like, the ball would have been out. If this was, I would say, Tua. Like, I don't want to compare them too much because I feel like people are going out of control, with all the takes on Twitter and stuff. But, like, it's still a nice completion by Huntley. It's nice to see them. And Tyreek had a good game. It's definitely one of Tyreek's better games. Like, he was clearly playing tough. He was running great routes. He didn't drop the football. So, good job from Tyreek. But this was a problem. Isaiah Wynn comes in, and I get it. He's trying to, move the pile late. But, like, this is just an unnecessary penalty. And this was the start of the end of that drive. After this, you had a bad snap. You had a holding call. So that first drive was kind of ruined right away, just from some dumb plays. Then you come out on your second drive, get the play action game going, roll out, boot stuff. Browns actually did mostly a good job against this stuff, like taking away the initial option. Like, Jonnu's taken away here, but Huntley's able to escape contain because they don't contain it super well. And Tyreek just runs a phenomenal route, dude. Like, look at his ability to get in and out of that break. And then Huntley, I thought overall was pretty accurate in this game. Definitely, I think accuracy was kind of an issue in some of the other games from him, just like consistency-wise. But I feel like for the most part, he was pretty much on the money, or like if he was off, it was still, the ball was pretty catchable, and then Tyreek hung on to it. And then just after like missed opportunities, like here, Brewer gets called for holding on a third down. Browns are playing cover 1, like people are getting manned up. Alec Ingles running routes down the field. Huntley does a good job of avoiding pressure, stepping up here, and then delivering a ball. This one, maybe a little low, but like, I mean, not the most perfect accurate pass, but dude, Achane caught this. Achane's so good, man. The fact Achane's out here running receiver routes versus Denzel Ward in man-to-man, and he ends up catching that ball, but it didn't matter because Brewer gets called for holding, which is unfortunate. He kind of hooks him there. I think this is one that they probably couldn't, they might have not called too. Like, he's hooking him, but it doesn't like last super long. It's not like he really changes too much of the trajectory of this, but that, you know, kind of sucks. Would have been another opportunity for the Dolphins to continue a drive, potentially put up some touchdowns, but they just kind of kept shooting themselves in the foot. But that's an insane catch by Achane. Got to give him credit. But as I was saying, the Browns got aggressive. This is like one of the only times you'll see the Dolphins on these like play action looks where you hit Tyreek or Waddle on a glance route, and like there's the safety is basically covering the tight end, and like they'll catch the ball and have no one there in front. Like if Tyreek just picks up his feet and doesn't get tackled there, he's gone. Like that's usually he has to run through like two other people behind that, but Browns got aggressive. Like look how aggressive up front they are. Look at these linebackers, these safeties, all of these guys. Like they stacked the box to stop this, and they only had a 2-man route. Boom, Durham Smythe potentially could have hit Smythe too, but why risk the throw? I mean, these guys are still kind of in the lane, but you have Tyreek 101. And you hit him. Really good timing of the throw too. I thought Huntley did a good job on it. Like when he was playing in rhythm, like Huntley looked very comfortable. Like he hit that back foot, boom, let the ball go. Anticipation throw, which is nice. Good wide base, accurate. Hits Tyreek right in stride. Potentially could have been a touchdown. One of the few times where you see Tyreek catch the ball and have no one else in front of him. He just got tripped up from behind. That was those opportunities just usually aren't presented for the Dolphins. But third down, like I was saying, the Browns decided to go cover one on these third downs. Dolphins did an overall decent job against it. This time, they're playing like a QB spy. This guy does a good job. Huntley kind of leaves the pocket. He's getting some pressure up the middle right here, and I understand why he wants to escape. But in my opinion, he's looking to the right here. If he sees man, he should throw this ball to Tyreek. Like, he has enough time to step up in the pocket and make this throw. Like, Tyreek is open. Like, this guy's squeezing man. This is man. I understand why he didn't throw to Achane, but, like, because he comes off of it. Like, he's reading this here. Once he sees this is taken, this guy squeeze, you throw the ball to Tyreek. But he tries to escape the pocket. So, like, I think, just feeling comfortability. He definitely looked way more comfortable. Clearly, more time in the system has been a huge help for him. But that was kind of, I think, a potential missed opportunity. And then he has to escape the pocket, and then he just throws it away, which is where, led to a punt. I believe the Dolphins had pretty good field position starting here, too. They got that one play, and they just kind of, shoot themselves in the foot. But he was playing with confidence, man. Here's one of the times where the Browns did stay in, like, the cover two. And, like, this guy's playing as, like, the flat cloud corner, and he gets hands on Tyreek, and he even tries to squeeze this throwing lane. And, it's the behind the back play action. Look at him reset his feet. Huntley was playing with good footwork in this game. Reset his feet, get his eyes down where he wants to. Doesn't really like the Jonnu look. Like, you can maybe layer it over to Jonnu, but this guy's going to kind of get in that way. He's seeing this space open up. 23 is trying to squeeze this and take away that throw, but he gets it over the top, hits Tyreek exactly where he needs to be. I do feel like Tyreek had a good game, but I wonder if Tyreek lost yards of yak in this game, because a lot of these plays he ended up running backwards a few yards. But that's just a great play. Love the confidence to make these tight windows throw. This is like exactly what the Dolphins miss when Tua's not in the game, because this is like obviously where Tua's kind of like his most comfortable a lot of the time is making those throws between 10 to 20 yards down the middle of the field off play action, and it's with like high anticipation. It just seemed like Huntley looked way comfortable in that. And I think a big thing is it seemed like Tua was very active on the sideline, so that's always helpful. Nice to see. I know people are like going way over the top, I think, with the Tua takes I've seen on Twitter. Like yes, it's his first like non-concussion injury in like 3 or 4 years. Like, yes, the concussions are an issue, but he hasn't really had any injuries outside of that in a while. And players get injured. Like, I think if you have issues with the injuries, like, yes, there's definitely concerns there. But I think, the people calling him soft and like holding out, like that stuff, like we have no information. Like, what are you talking? You're just making that stuff up. Clearly he wants to play, and like, but it is what it is. But then the Dolphins kind of ruined their own drive again after this. They had Browns had a good call. Dolphins try to get cute with the reverse stuff, and a lot of times it works. But this time, 9, they get a safety down the box. Craycraft would be responsible for crackback blocking him, but with where this guy aligns and shifts down, Rivers gonna have no chance to actually get there. So like, what's he supposed to do? And he just takes a perfect angle to blow this up, take Malik out, and then you just lose 9 yards or so on the play, and that drive kind of ends again. Dolphins struggled with pressure. Myles Garrett, I I mean, here he's versus Armstead, but Myles Garrett's going to give... I might do a video on Patrick Paul later. Patrick Paul definitely struggled in this game, but I mean, he was getting Myles Garrett treatment, so like, who doesn't struggle? Myles Garrett, even look what he did to Armstead here, because Huntley feels that pressure to his left, but him doing that, he kind of like overextends, like he doesn't try to reset his feet, because he still had room to like reset his feet like right there, and potentially, make a throw down the field, or, try to do some other stuff, but he kind of just runs into the other guy, and this guy forces that sack. Really, Garrett's the one who forces this sack. Like, I wouldn't, like Kendall Lamb's guy gets the sack, but I wouldn't really blame this on Kendall Lamb. Huntley kind of runs right into it. I think that was an issue, like, a couple of times. I think he kind of ran into pressure at times, but that's just a good play by the defense, and, kind of another drive that got stalled out. Here before half, Dolphins, I think he hit Malik Washington like 3 times in a row. This is one of them. Good job. Play action, boom, reset your feet. Malik is like widening, looking like he's going to block on the bubble, and then he resets, boom, gets back to the inside. Ball's thrown a little bit behind, but he's doing that because this guy's kind of in that throwing window. Malik kind of bobbles it, but makes a good adjustment, good catch. And then I think one thing Washington's very good with is his contact balance, and he has such good balance here. For him to like bobble the ball, have to re-catch it, and then still fight through that contact, fall forward to pick up that first down, really good stuff. Definitely a good drive. This was after the Dolphins got like a turnover on downs, and they just got into field goal range, picking up points. Really, they only had like one real touchdown drive, and it was the one, I think, like right out of the half. It might have been this one I think we're about to watch, yeah. This was definitely their best drive of the game. All the other drives, they kind of shot themselves in the foot, came away with a field goal. Their other touchdown came off of them starting at like the 20. This is like their real touchdown drive right here, where when you get the play action going, early down play action, this is where they kind of thrived in this game. Browns were in cover 3, single high. You can attack this part of the field right here, attack the seams. Dolphins are running like these deep curl routes down the seams, boom, play action. Hit Tyreek in between basically these rectangle of defenders, and Huntley playing with confidence on these throws. This is where the Dolphins really have been good. Since the McDaniel era, this is where they make a lot of their money, is these plays. And when Tua wasn't in, this is where they couldn't make those plays very often anymore, and Huntley did a good job. Stick that back foot, like, obviously, he's not throwing with, like, insane anticipation. He's just throwing with solid timing. Like, obviously, like, if Tua was in the game, he probably releases it, like, he's starting to release, like, right there. But Huntley has a little bit of stronger arm, can, wait onto it, and then and it's tough when you're not in the system super long to have that kind of trust. But then they also got a face mask out of this. Tyreek still runs backwards, though, which is funny. He still loses some yards. But really good job. The play action stuff worked really well in this game. And they're actually able to run it consistently just because the Browns kind of dared them to. This was a big play. Browns cover 1, 3rd and 9. They bring 4. They're playing cover 1 with a spy right here. They're spying Huntley. And it's just a great route from River and great throw and timing from Huntley. Stick that back foot. He's kind of just reading what's going on here. River works in the blind spot. Great job attacking that like outside half. Boom, work into that. Get him to open up his hips and then break across the middle. And Huntley throws with good timing, and River makes a tough catch, prepared to take the hit from the middle field safety. That's just great work all around. Doesn't really get better than that. Potentially could have hit Washington too, but like Craycraft, great route, just such good work. Dolphins taking advantage of some of the cover 1 stuff, especially in that intermediate middle of the field part of the field. And the Dolphins, they ran a ton of RPO, especially in the second half. Here's the RPO. Boom, Huntley escapes the pocket. And Huntley ran on a lot of these RPOs. Great pump fake here to Julian Hill to get this defender to squeeze down on this. It allows him to get to the outside. Then he gets into the end zone, just shows some great awareness. Huntley made some big plays with his feet, especially as the game went on. He made more and more plays with his feet, and that was like definitely the best drive of the game from the offense as a whole. Also, probably Huntley's best drive. Just really good work all around. This was not, I mean, Huntley got sacked again, but like, man, Myles Garrett, so good. Like here versus Patrick Paul, this is when Patrick Paul came in the game. Look at him knife to the inside. Patrick Paul oversets a little bit, but Garrett goes through Paul and Robert Jones, man. This guy's insane, and gets on Huntley in an instant. Like, it's a tough matchup. Like, I'm not going to put too much on the O-line. Like, obviously, that's what you get when you have these. But like, even when Armstead was in, like, there was a couple reds, so like, damn, Garrett's so good. That's just like being one of the best defensive players in the world. Like him, Crosby, TJ Watt, those types of players. This was a call that, the Dolphins fans will be very mad about. This was the 4th and 1. They try to run the toss play, and he's kind of off screen here, but if you see this guy, you see the brown helmet all the way to the left. 30. He's supposed to get not Kendall Lamb's not supposed to block him. He's supposed to get cracked back by Washington, but just based on his alignment to Washington, Washington couldn't get down in time to crack back him. So they try to adjust, and that guy just blows up the play instantly. Also, don't love the play call. I know people just want to run it up the middle. That's what I want to. Just run it up the middle, man. Even though I still don't think that is likely to work, just because the Dolphins are terrible in these situations. It doesn't matter what they've tried. They've tried pretty much everything in these situations, and pretty much nothing works. So I understand like him trying to mix it up and go for a toss, but just run it down the middle. Get Jeff Wilson in there and run some inside zone or some power, that type of thing. Because it really doesn't. Nothing has worked that you've tried. But at least if you run inside zone, or if you put Jeff Wilson in and run up the middle, at least the fans won't be like, horrible play call if it doesn't work. Well, they still might, but it's just like, dude, nothing. They are so bad in these situations. It's not even just the play calling, even though the play calling is definitely suspect, especially on this play. But it's like, dude, whatever they run in these situations, nothing works. It's actually insane. Dolphins here. Looks like they're going play action. Kind of weird. Maybe it's hard to tell with how it looks like they're pass blocking on the back end. But with the routes the receivers are running, this is like their typical RPO stuff, like the seam rail slide. It just is interesting with how the Dolphins line plays it. Like, they don't usually go upfield that much on their RPOs, so hard to say. But it looks like their typical RPO, but they're pass blocking a little bit more on it than usual, at least on the backside. But Huntley escapes the pocket again. Really good work, making this guy miss. Just sticks with it. He did a really good job throughout the game, like pointing. Like when you just point to stuff, which throws people. Sometimes he was pointing for no reason. Like he was pointing at his players to block, but sometimes he was pointing like, "Hey," just to like freeze a defender, and he picks up a first down, which was big. Like this drive, they didn't really do much on this drive, but they wasted 5 minutes off the clock and kind of helped flip field position a bit, which is all you really wanted at this point in the game. Like here, third down, Browns go cover one. When you go cover one, you can take advantage of cover one by escaping the pocket. Like great job here from Jeff Wilson. They bring a blitz on this cover one look. Jeff Wilson picks up the safety. Great block, which allows him to step up into this. Everyone kind of finishes to the side here. Good job from Brewer. Good job from like the right side of this offensive line, kind of widening everybody. And then it gets Huntley one-on-one with this guy. He makes him miss, and he's gone. Really, like, they got quick pressure, so there wasn't really anything to go to. If he had time, he might have been able to hit River on this double move, because River did get open deep. That would have been a fun play. But Huntley escapes the pocket. Really good work. He starts pointing again to Brewer, and he starts, doing his thing. But that's just a good drive. Just keep extending the time. In this game, it started to rain, was windy. The Browns weren't doing anything offensively. You were just trying to extend the game, flip field position. Don't do it. Play a little conservatively. But that's some good stuff. Here's another, just some sacks were the problems. They slide their protection here to the left. They bring the tight end across. He's like sifting back across. He has to kick out this defensive end. It's a tough assignment, but he's not able to really get it done. Huntley tries to avoid it, but gets tripped up. He might have been able to stay on his feet. And if he was able to stay on his feet, he did have Washington coming open over the middle. Browns, looks like they're running basically cover 3, but their middle of the field safety squeezes down over the top here. But they did have Washington open. Maybe it ends up being like a Tampa 2 type look, where they're basically disguising cover 3. But yeah, Washington coming up over the middle, just unfortunately getting pressured pretty quickly there up front. And then the game by this time was pretty much over. Dolphins had to close it out. The Browns just tried to go for it on their own 20. Dolphins start here with it. Just good job getting the ball to Tyreek Hill. Browns are going man-to-man. You take this all day long. Quick out. Tyreek Hill makes a guy miss, gets upfield. Also smart play for him to just slide, stay in bounds to keep the clock running. And then Jonnu Smith had to throw this in there. Dolphins final touchdown, final play. Play action. Dolphins couldn't run the ball, so might as well run play action. You leave Garrett unblocked. He squeezes down on this. Go out to the side. Jonnu catches the ball, and then Jonnu tied the record for both touchdowns by a tight end in Dolphin season. He already broke the reception records and the yards record. Might as well get him a touchdown next week, have him break the touchdown record too. Jonnu has been amazing this season. Definitely a huge shout out to Jonnu Smith. Career year for him. Good stuff. Yeah, he gets that touchdown. Craycraft actually ran a good, if obviously if he wasn't rolling out to the left, but Craycraft ran a good route down here too. It would have been interesting if he threw that slant to him. But yeah, good job for Jonnu. I think overall, defense played a really good game. I'll get the defense tomorrow. I might also have a Tyrell Dotson video later today because Dotson played out of his mind in replacement of Anthony Walker. He had like 15 tackles or something. He had the interception. I mean, dumb penalty from it, but yeah, we'll get to that. But offense as a whole, definitely, it was like usually when Dolphins have a backup QB in over the past few years, it's been like, watching either paint dry or you want to like, it's like literally cut your eyes out or something. Like it's been so hard to watch, either just being boring or you just hated being there. But this was, I don't think, the case. I mean, the offense still, was frustrating, but it wasn't mostly because of the backup quarterback. It was mostly because of other issues. Backup quarterback actually did his job, which is good to see. Like other teams around the league, like look at the Eagles, what they just did to the Cowboys with their backup and their third string quarterback. Like, and they blew them out. They put up like 41 points or something like that. And the Giants and the Colts, like they're a team. They both were playing with their backups, and the Giants are a bad team, and they came in with their backup and won that game. And the Colts backup, is Flacco, who's traditionally seen as like just as good as their starter, and they still lost in a big time moment. So like this is a team sport. Got to be able to go out there and win like these team games. This is, I think, a big moment for them. Even though they're playing the Browns, who are a bad team, they have not been able to really pull this type of game up on the road with backups in the past. So, in like a high pressure situation, so that's nice to see. So if you guys like the video, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.